Let's jump into the first story. And let me just get started with 2 words: Civil War. Yep, I had to say it because everybody was waiting for it. The fire emojis are already in the chat. Feds search home of Jeffrey Clark, former DOJ official who pushed Trump's false election fraud claims. They say Clark is a former DOJ lawyer who former President Donald Trump sought to install as Attorney General in the days before the January 6th Capitol riot, as top officials refused to go along with his vote fraud claims. It wasn't clear what investigators were seeking at Clark's home, but the raid was part of the Justice Department's sweeping investigation into the effort to overturn the 2020 elections, according to sources familiar with the matter. Now, what we're hearing from conservatives and Republicans is that Jeffrey Clark was simply trying to understand and investigate the claims that were being made. On the left, they're saying he's an insurrectionist who is going along with Trump's schemes. I don't think either narrative matters. What matters is the narratives exist. If you're on the left and you're looking at this, you're like, yes, the federal government is going after Trump and his opponents. Certainly then you think Trump's tried staging a coup and we're in the midst of some very serious crisis. Or you're a Trump supporter and you're like, this dude wasn't doing anything wrong, and the weight of the DOJ is crushing down on their political rivals. I happen to think that the DOJ, the January 6th committee, is just trying to stop Trump from winning. That's my opinion. But either way, it looks like this country is being completely ripped apart.
Yep. I've said it once and I will say it again. In 2016, when there were accusations made that the presidential election was rigged, we investigated the accused. In 2020, when the same accusation was made, we decided to investigate the accuser. Make of that what you want.
I just don't like how the left is the anti-police state side, quote unquote, the, anti-prison industrial complex. But if it's somebody who we don't know why yet, if we know why and the dude did something wrong, okay, but we don't know why yet, and just to see Democrats blindly be like, yes, queen, and like so excited that just Trump supporters are being arrested or searched or whatever, I don't love.
I would assume that Clark probably knew this was coming. He probably knew it was coming. You look at what the DOJ has done at this sham committee. They've gone after Steve Bannon, Mark Meadows, anybody even associated with Trump, anybody that was texting with him, tweeting with him even days prior. This is all about Trump. This is that sham committee. And it's an illegitimate committee, quite honestly.
And Jeffrey Clark, I'm pretty sure he was subpoenaed and he pleaded the fifth. So I wonder if this is retaliation for him refusing to actually answer those questions. Because you know what the January 6th committee is doing? I'll tell you, anybody who's testified for the January 6th committee, you've been played. You watch the videos they're putting out, they're pulling quotes out of context. That's what they wanted. It's a non-adversarial committee. There's no cross-examination, so they're just getting people to say whatever they want. They're taking interviews with the Trump sphere and getting them out of context. It's a show trial. It's a sham. And now they're using the weight of the federal government to crush anybody who is supporting Trump.
And it's all one-sided because there's no Republicans on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, McCarthy asked me to be one of the 5, and I wanted to be. But for your listeners, you need to understand that this is the first time in the history of Congress has a speaker ever rejected a minority leader's picks to be on a select committee. It's never happened before. She didn't like Jim Jordan. She didn't like Jim Banks and some of the others. So we're not on it, but we're doing our own thing.
Because I think it's clearly meant to manipulate people who don't pay attention. So they go, it's a bipartisan committee because we have...
Because we got Liz Cheney.
Yeah, right. You know what I love? I feel like if we're talking about actual political arguments, the real factions are libertarians and conservatives. Because liberals are just saying whatever random crazy nonsense. I just don't even understand. They're like, Liz Cheney's great. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You hated the Cheneys.
Look,
Where you, what?
No one in the Cheney family has ever gotten us like hyped up on fears of terrorism or anything like that to strip people of their civil liberties. I don't think we have anything to worry about here.
Wow. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, huh?
Yeah, if you've been watching the hearings in Liz, the first hearing, 20 minutes, pretty sleepy. She must have a serious crush on Trump because she mentioned his name over and over and over again. But truly, I think what it is, she despises him. She thinks about him when she wakes up and when she goes to sleep, she's thinking about because she despises him. Everybody on that committee, they hate him. And I believe, Tim, you're absolutely right. This is about Trump in 2024. There's no other reason for this. Of course, I can't talk about inflation and gas, so it's all about January 6th. And I think it's having, sadly, a little bit of an impact, and maybe that's why you're seeing DeSantis DeSantis numbers improve a little bit.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
you know,
I like DeSantis though.
I'm not saying he's not a good guy. I'm just saying that I think that as they continue to do this, it's all one-sided, and you keep it on. I was watching MSLSD the other day and CNN, and that's all you saw: Trump's name on it. So they're trying to convince the American people.
It's like they think he's still president or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
It's been 2 years, man. Go home.
Blue and on, bro.
I know.
Yeah.
They think he's secretly still the president. I gotta say, I agree with you, and you would, it's unfortunate because, like you said, it is having something of an effect. But if it wasn't, you'd almost just call it a weird group therapy session. They're all just getting together to vent about how much they didn't like Trump and he was bad. It just seems like a very emotionally satisfying thing for them, rather than something serious people are engaging in for good reason.